episode.
And we are live.
Killed it. I'm good.
You have anything you want to say to Marcus? Because he's right there.
Hey Marcus.
In that big fuzzy black headphone.
I know you couldn't be here today with us. I know you had to go to work and be a man. Provide for yourself and your family.
Here we are paying tribute to the recently departed Marcus.
I miss him already.
He left the island of Bromandy
Far before his time. What a cool guy.
Right? What a cool fucker. Anyway. And welcome back to Bromandy, everybody. Chris is here today with my best friend,
Schulte.
We love Marcus, too.
Love him. Love.
But today it's just me and Schultz, and today we've got you another anime review. Clannad, as well as Clannad After Story. And in case you didn't know, we fucking love this show.
This may or may not be basically my favorite show.
It is easily in my top, like, 2 or 3.
Same.
But, as much as we love it, we have to criticize it. We have to be critical.
I'm sorry, Clannad,
for
the crimes we're about to commit.
We have to handle it a little rough. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and get started with this. Clannad was released in the fall of 2007, and After Story was released in 2008. I'm going to go ahead and preface that we are going to be doing both shows kind of in a 1-2 pairing. And we'll have a little special thing we're doing with the scores at the end, but we will talk about that when we get there. This anime was produced by Kyoto Animation, and in case you didn't know, they have done shows such as K-On!, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Canon, and probably the coolest show ever, Lucky Star. It's a fun ride in case you didn't know. But let's go ahead and let's talk about these characters for this wonderful story of Clannad.
Got a whole list.
Tomoya Okazaki, the main character.
The lead.
The delinquent.
Ooh.
Or at least they call him a delinquent. I don't really know if I consider him that. But he is kind of a hard ass.
He doesn't do school well.
Yeah, he's not too good at school. But
that's about all you need, apparently, to be a delinquent.
I mean, he's sitting here in class, and all of a sudden, all these cool people come out of nowhere and change his life forever. I mean, he has that, oh, these guys are now my friends. Let me help them through all their hardships.
Man, they found him.
And they found like a gold mine in Tomoya. And I remember in one of our top what was it, top 10 or a podcast?
Couldn't tell you.
Anyway, characters we related to. I said Tomoya was one of them because I'm like, I love my bros. I was like, and I like to help them out any way I can. But you can't be just like, oh, I love you. It's gotta be like, oh, you know what? I'll do what I can. And that's the kind of guy Tomoya is. He's just a guy who wants to help his friends, and that's what kind of drives the story for Clannad.
Friend to all.
And he has a big cast of friends, as a matter of fact, which we'll get into right now. Probably most of all, Nagisa Furukawa, his soon-to-be wife.
I thought you were going to go with that.
No, I mean, it's the first girl he meets on the way to school, and she's like the shy, lonely type.
What is she going to eat?
Yeah, she has to talk about what her favorite foods are
when she gets to school
to help give her the courage.
She needs to know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And she gets that bean bun.
Yeah, she gets that bean bun, and she's ready to go about her day. But Nagisa has a passion for theater, and all she wants to do is get the drama club back up. And of course, who's there to help her but the one and only Tomoya. So he's there to help out. And they, throughout season 1, bud a friendship, almost like they were the closest of the group.
Very much so. Put as the main female lead.
Yeah, which, as would lead into the second season, where it becomes an actual relationship, which is actually something really nice to see in anime. But we'll talk about that when we get to the story section. We're just gonna briefly talk about the characters first. Third, your favorite, Fuko Ibuki.
I didn't know where we were going, but Fuko is definitely where I like to be.
Fuko is adorable.
Oh my fucking god! I love Fuko.
She dons the party hat and the big giant shirt of clothes that makes her adorable.
She wants everyone to know. There's a wedding, here's a starfish.
Here's a starfish, go support my sister.
Please. Please so much.
Of course, there's more to Fuko, but we won't spoil stuff in case you haven't seen the show. But Fuko is meant to be the most adorable character on planet Earth.
She is the most adorable planet Earth character.
But as we said, Fuko is just meant to be that cute little piece of heaven in the story who gets you her small little arc. Like, while it is sad, and I preface this A lot of this show is meant to be super sad.
It does not make like the happy kick all the time.
And emotional, but she is that little slice of heaven amongst all the story and development that goes into like how sad this show actually is.
Fucking love her.
But at number 4 we have Katomi Ichinoshi, and she plays the violin.
Dude, she thinks she plays the violin.
Yeah, she plays it really loud.
She's really smart. We'll go to that.
She is. She spends all of her time in the library for good reasons, and which you will find out if you watch the show. No spoilers. But Marcus even thinks she's like super adorable when she like scoots around on the floor and pats the ground. It's like, here, come sit next to me.
That's because she is.
But she's very monotone. She's the smart one. She's the quiet one. Doesn't really say much. And in that, you find out how cute she is.
Yeah. They leave her a lot of room to just not. She doesn't really do anything at the beginning, and then leave her a lot of room to go.
But she has a lot of family issues, in which, of course, our hero Tomoya is always there to help her work through, and like fixes up her garden and stuff so she can remember the good moments of her life, of course. But sad to say, she's pushed aside in season 2. She's not even there. She's in America studying science.
She's busy.
She has a life.
Damn right.
And cannot make season 2.
Her schedule didn't allow it.
Apparently not. But next we're going to go ahead and do the twins, Kyu and Ryu Fujibayashi. And
being older.
And they are also kind of pushed aside. But yeah, Kyu is the older one. And she is the I'm going to beat you up so my sister can love you type thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like everyone is.
Yeah,
right?
like all girls in romance anime.
Pretty common.
But she's the outgoing, super loud, controlling person, while her little sister is the girl who is crushing on Tomoya.
But she won't. She's not very pushy.
Yeah, she won't say anything, so her sister will do it for her.
Her sister's the assertive one.
And they are a 1-2 tandem, but like I said, they don't get as much screen time as maybe Nagisa or...
Kyu gets a lot more use, I'd say, screen-wise.
Yeah, she's more vocal, so she's a lot of time, and Ryu's almost not even there at times.
Basically.
Which is sad, because she's pretty adorable, too. I mean...
Yeah, well, the show is adorable.
The show is adorable, so they do get their own personal time. But next we have Tomoyo Sakagami, and the closeness of the names...
Yeah, it still bothers me to say like that like I can mix up the main character's name.
It's like if we have to say anything negative about it, it's like why? It's
a letter.
I was like, why did you go with this name? But anyway, she is the definition of hard ass.
She was the hard ass outside, and she's like, never mind.
She's a gang leader, or was a gang leader.
She's like, never mind.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go do cool stuff.
She's like, I'm gonna go to school and like run for like class president and stuff like that, and
beat you up if you don't vote for
Yeah. She's, I guess, misunderstood. She's scary to all the other students, but of course Tomoya finds the friendship with her.
Oh,
it's like, oh, you're more than what you seem to be. Except when she's kicking the shit out of Sunahara.
Well, that's just because he's a dick.
Who is our next character, by the way. He's the bro friend to Tomoya, the best friend who is nothing but a goof around klutz.
Which half the things he says is him being a dick.
Yeah. It's just the side man. It's a little comedy humor.
He is very much so that.
Yeah, that's all he is. He doesn't really have. He does have a few episodes of development where
True, but at the same time, like they give every character some.
Yeah, they give every character like their own.
Show. That's something good about this show is every character is given an episode or two to develop
their own little
themselves.
story or on their little arc, how they become a better person or grow. But that ends the list of characters we have. So let's go ahead and talk about the animation and sound before we actually talk about the full story of Clannad. The animation, as we said, was done by Kyoto Annie. And it's kind of like what we say about like JC Staff, how it's all in the face. They have distinct hair colors. They have bright, beautiful eyes. You're drawn to the facial expressions and the emotion.
Other than their face, there's not a lot different.
Yeah, and also being a show in a school setting where everything's very typical, run-of-the-mill, the animation's not going to get a lot of points. But it's also not asked to do that because it is a romance. And since it is an emotional show with a lot of sad moments and times, the fact that all the focus is on the eyes and the face, it really appeals to whoever's watching, because you're like, oh, they're so sad, I'm sad.
We spent all the time up there, and it worked. Definitely worked.
And yeah, it definitely works, especially when you're sitting there crying along with them, which we can all relate to if you've watched the show and have a heart.
3 times.
But let's talk about the sound, too. And with this being an emotional show, I was talking about this earlier with Schultz, that this is a beautiful soundtrack. Not like super grand in that it's like loud and like in a fighting show, it needs to blow you away. It's just like, this is just beautiful music.
Yeah, very peaceful. Very slightly sad in the way it plays out.
Yeah, it's just a sombering music, but it's very well orchestrated. They did a very good job. All the openings and endings are in the same manner, where it's just a beautiful orchestra piece. And I think one piece I want to bring recognition to is Dango Dai Kazoku. And if you do not know what the Dango song is, please go listen to the Dango song.
Can we all just be one big happy Dango family?
Can we not?
I'd like to.
I mean, I'd love to, but it's such a beautiful song, and it's like simple. It's like almost, this is something cute that Nagisa brings to the table, and they use it as like an ending for the show as well. And you actually listen to the story of what the Dango family is. You're like, this is sad, and it just plays along perfectly with the show. And the music was just so well done for a show that's meant to make you cry. You're meant to have the feels in this show, and it does such a good job. But
so many.
Speaking of the feels, let's do the story. The actual story to Clannad. And what actually will make you cry is this full story. Now, Season 1 of Clannad is basically Tomoya in school with all these friends that we mentioned, and they all have little hardships through Season 1.
As he meets them, builds up, he starts to work on each person's problems as they come up.
And he helps them to get through these. And some get like more screen time than others. Like Fuko, I think it's like a 7-episode arc.
I love her.
Where Kotomi gets like a 4 or 5. The sisters don't really get one.
Not directly.
And then Tomoyo doesn't really get one until like Season 2, where you find out she's kind of relevant. And then Tsunohara gets a couple of episodes. Nagisa gets her own like 2 or 3 mini arcs. Which actually lets you know that she is like the main interest. And
she was the primary.
Yeah, whereas like he has friendships with everybody else, he's actually falling in love with her. And that's how Season 1 is, and that's how it begins. And at the end of Season 1, it ends with him asking Nagisa out on a date.
Oh.
So it's like, oh, we have found the romance.
Finally stepped up.
And then you get into Season 2, which Season 1, while overlooked, Season 2 is the masterpiece of this show. It is so well done, because you enter in the world of adulthood. It starts off with them dating, relationships, working through problems, working through Tomoya's past with his dad, her helping him through it, and realizing that those two work together so well as a team that they're going to get married. And they do get married, and then they give birth to this wonderful angel.
To the final character.
The most perfect character in this list, Ushio. And if you don't know who Ushio is, she is right here. Marcus, put it here, right here.
Where the hood at? Had a nigga in the cut where the wood at. All the niggas acting up where the wolves at. You better bust that if you don't pull that.
This time it's not a candelabra.
Yeah, this time it's not a Hanukkah. It's an Ushio.
It's an actual Ushio.
Ushio is the perfect little slice of heaven, and I don't think I can really get around. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point, if you've seen After Story, that the tragedy of the second season is Tomoya loses Nagisa during childbirth. She dies, and as a viewer, I'm so stricken with grief.
I cried.
Yeah, I mean, I cried. It's so sad, because you have, at this time, you spent, I don't know, 25 to 30, I mean, I know 25 was Season 1, so I guess it'd be like 35, almost 40 episodes.
Close. I'd say about 35.
With these characters, and these are the two main characters that you bonded with so much, and when the main character is the character you're trying to relate to, like I am, I mean, that's a terrible loss. You lost your wife.
I'm so sad still.
Yeah, it's just a terrible thing to go through. But after the fact, then you realize the concept of adulthood. Of course, he's went through, he's found a job, he's working, and at this time he's slowly regressing to the state of his dad, where he's going to alcohol.
Never want to be that guy.
He's only working to get by. He's gambling at times because he has no purpose in life, to the point where he's actually given Ushio to Sanai and Aki, which are Nagisa's parents, in case we haven't mentioned that yet, and hasn't seen Ushio in a couple of years.
I think it's 5.
Yeah, I don't think she was in kindergarten. She was preschool.
It might have been preschool.
But north of 3 years.
Yeah, there you go.
That he didn't spend with his own daughter.
His daughter.
And then we're entered into the back half of Season 2, where he gets kind of thrown into a trip with Ushio, and she throws up that fist pump.
Oh my god, so ready.
And they go on a trip, and this is where father and daughter bonding begins, and he learns that he loves his daughter and he wants to take care of his daughter. And then, like the assholes of the writers of the show they are, they decide to make us cry again.
I can't.
And if you don't know what this is, I'm going to go ahead and tell you again. Ushio is lost because she is, like her mother, very ill and sick and can't stay in good health. And you're thinking, something terrible like this happens again. How can you do this to me? It's such a sad story.
I cried. That was the third of 4 times.
Yeah, I've never been so sad at going from the loss of a mother to the bonding of like a father and his daughter, and then losing his own daughter again. Like, he lost his entire world. And that's how the show would have ended had it not been for the supernatural that this show brings. And a lot of people don't like that about the show.
I'm not fully against it. It is shown slightly throughout the entire thing.
It is embedded with you little by little.
Much more in the second season.
Yeah, that you are to give back to this town. You are to respect this town, love this town. And if you do that, it'll give back to you. And at the end, you are presented where everything is rewritten. And he is given his happy ending. And which I think that's kind of cool because it relates to the ties of the visual novel where people like play the game, you do your own little pass and stuff. But this is the true ending.
Honestly, I cried again.
Yeah.
Because I was so, I watched this all in one sitting towards the end. So I was so sad that when the happy happened, I was so happy that it happened that way. Yeah. I cried again.
Yeah, I was like, this is the best thing that could have ever happened. And I know a lot of people are mad because they went through all this real life scenario to throw in this supernatural element at the end. And I'm like, it was told to you.
Like I said, I'm not against it fully. It does feel slightly, again, even bringing it up throughout the entire show, it does feel slightly, conveniently placed. Again, although brought up the entire way, it had a sad end that they felt, I guess, people might hate or be very upset with. And it kind of feels almost like they brought it back for that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think this is where the show was going.
Well, I mean, I can slightly understand negativity towards what they would call a cop-out ending, just to give you your happy ending. But it is embedded with you, even to the point where they have like a side story with the girl and her robot.
Yeah.
Where the girl is portrayed as Ushio and the robot is Tomoya, trying to get her back into the real world, and it was achieved. Like, it went beyond, quote, boundaries in time, to save his world.
I completely agree. The whole thing is, I've said it 3 times, I think I'll say it a 4th time. It's all brought up. It's not out of nowhere by any means. It just almost feels too convenient is all I mean. Speaking devil's advocate for this, honestly, but because in the end I love the way they did it. It just, I could see why people would have a problem with it.
Well, the fact was it's a 1-episode ending. It didn't ruin the story at all. It just gave you that miracles can happen type thing. And this show had while it didn't have any supernatural elements, it had almost a magical feel to it, like I said, with the music and how it felt and the emotion in it. And this was meant to be a sad show, and it did a great job portraying that, and you were rewarded in the end. The characters were rewarded in the end. And I appreciated the ending. Whether people don't like it or not, I really, really loved this show and thought it was a wonderful story.
I loved the whole thing, so.
Yeah, I mean, I love Season 1 too, but I think people can safely say Season 2 was so much more developed as the characters were, and definitely. So much better than Season 1, where Season 1 was kind of a arc as you go. This is how you meet the characters develop, which is not a problem.
Well, it was almost like the whole first season was lined up for the second season rather than the
It's just that there's nothing super special about Season 1, whereas there is something completely special about Season 2. But we will wrap up the story part there, and we will talk a little bit about the subs and dubs, and I will tell you, right now the dub is terrible. I have watched both, actually, and I can't tolerate the dub. There are some, I think, really good voice actors in it, but the overall cast, kind of B-list. So when
I never watched it.
So when you have characters like in the sub that I mean, I'm just kind of biased because I did watch it first. I guess I will go ahead and say that, but the dub is pretty bad because I can usually watch both and be okay with it. But the sub was really well done, and probably my favorite comparison is the sub version of Ushio is so adorable. You can't get past that. But that's just my own personal selfish plug there. But I would recommend the sub over the dub, and you may watch the dub and like it, but to me, it's more of a B-list show than some others.
I need to see dubbed Fuko.
I'm sure she's just as cute. Even if she is dribble, high five. I made the basket. She's so cute. I freaking love Fuko.
She's great.
Well, let's get to the hard part. The scores of Clannad and Clannad After Story. And as I said, we were going to talk about this towards the end. We graded these separately. And then we gave them a unified grade because whether you like it or not, you cannot have Season 2 without Season 1. They are a unified show. It is 2 seasons of basically the same show. Therefore, well, let's go ahead and say, what was our enjoyment rating, obviously?
A Yui out of 10.
Yeah, Yui out of 10 out of 10?
It was way up there.
Dude, a Fuko out of 10? An Ushio out of 10?
I can't go above the numbers, but if I had to stop at number, it would be 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. That's where we're stopping. This is probably one of the best anime and easily in my top 5. But the actual scores, Clannad, Season 1, got a 7.5 out of 10. And it's strictly because it was a really good anime series. Just nothing quite as grand as Season 2. Now, Season 2, we gave a 8.3 because there was so much that this show offered. Great characters, great story, beautiful sound. I mean, you can really only knock the animation. The story was so well done, and the characters so well developed in this series, which gives the overall rating of the series of Clannad a 7.9 out of 10, ranking it quite high on our top 10 list.
Super hype.
The hype is real.
I love that show.
I absolutely love Clannad. I hate that I can't give it higher than that because to me it is the perfect little slice of heaven. But regardless, it'll always have a place in our Bromandy hearts. Maybe Marcus one day if we can get him to finish it. You never know.
Marcus has to.
Marcus has watched part of this show.
Has
you know,
has to love the rest.
Maybe one day. We never know. But if you did enjoy our anime review, please check out our other anime reviews we've done, as well as our top 10 lists and our occasional podcasts that we've done, as well as Marcus's Character Study Classroom. Leave us a like if you did like what we do, or even consider subscribing, because we always need more members here at the island of Bromandy. But until next time, this is Crucius signing out. Later, guys!